are the ingredients you'll need: chopped onion, minced garlic, garlic cloves, thyme, spring onion, mint, rosemary, all-purpose seasoning, jerk seasoning, ground ginger, turmeric, salt, black pepper, ground coriander, and of course the lamb. As you can see, the lamb has been trimmed and washed, ready to be seasoned. So what we're going to do now, we're going to drizzle some olive oil all over to act as a binder. Now we're going to dump in the rest of the seasoning: the onions, the garlic, the cloves, the thyme, the mint, all of your fresh seasoning. And once we finish dumping all of those in there, we're just going to rub that in. So now we're just going to take our time and just massage all that lovely seasoning in there. Just get into all the nooks and the crannies, all the creases and crevices. And we're just going to massage all that lovely seasoning. Flip it over and do on the next side. Just massage all that lovely fresh seasoning into the meat until it looks something like this. As you can see, I transferred to the chopping board because we need to get the garlic in there. So we're just going to make some shallow cuts in there and stick the garlic in there. Yep. Try to get the most thick parts and stick the garlic in there. And we're going to do the same with the thyme. Now we're just going to get the last garlic in there. And now move on to the thyme. You can use the same shallow cuts that you use for the garlic and just stick the thyme in there into the thick parts of the meat. Just stick the thyme in there, same as you did with the garlic. And that will season the inner parts of the meat, giving it a nice, lovely flavor. Now this is what we end up with. And now we're just going to transfer to the baking tray. Just going to sit the meat down onto the baking tray. As you can see, the leg is too big for my tray, but never mind. We're going to make it work. And what we're doing now, we're just going to rub the meat with all the rest of the seasoning. Just get all that last bit of seasoning onto the meat. Yep. And then we're going to get the oven ready, hot for the meat. So we're just going to finish putting a little bit of seasoning on there and get ready for the oven. We're also going to pour a little bit of beef stock at the bottom. That way the meat wouldn't dry out. And then we're going to cover the tray with some foil. Get that nice and tight, ready for the oven. So we're just going to cover the meat with the foil, and get that nice and tight, as tight as you can. You do not want that steam being released when it's in the oven. We're just going to get that nice and tight and get it ready for the oven. So now we're going to transfer that into a preheated oven. I set my temperature at 170, but you can go at 175 or 165, but I set mine at 170. And we're just going to stick the meat in there, nicely tightly covered with the foil, and sit that in there for the initial 1 hour. And this is what we look like after 1 hour. Be careful, it's very hot. So we're just going to uncover that after an hour and see what we're working with. This is what we look like after 1 hour. As you can see, we're making some progress. And that looks lovely. So what we'll do now, we just take and baste it. Use that juice from the bottom, that beef broth, and we're just gonna baste the meat as best as you can. Just gonna go ahead and baste this, and then we're gonna set this back in the oven. Let's go ahead and baste them. We're gonna set this back in the oven for another hour. Just gonna give a quick wipe. That helps out with the cleaning after. We're just gonna give that a quick wipe. And then you're just gonna cover and stick it back in the oven for another hour. So now we're gonna move on to some potatoes. We're gonna bake some potatoes also to have with our leg of lamb. So we're gonna season the potatoes. We're gonna drizzle some olive oil. And we're gonna put some dry seasoning also. We're gonna put some salt and some mixed dry herbs also. We're also gonna put in a bit of dry coriander. Let's put in a little bit of seasoning, dry seasoning, anything you have. But we just want to season that potatoes. We got some thyme, some fresh herb. Just gonna dump that in there as well. Some thyme and some coriander. And we're just gonna dump that in there as well. Just to give it a nice flavor. Some aromatics. And we're just gonna toss that in the olive oil with the dry seasoning, with the fresh herbs. Just gonna toss those and get it ready for the oven also. So we're just gonna give that a wipe down. We're gonna set this aside, ready for the oven. Now this is what the lamb look like after 2 hours. As you can see, we're getting there. Yes, but still needs to go a bit. So we're just gonna stick that back in the oven for another half an hour, 45 minutes. In the meantime, we're gonna do some asparagus. Just gonna dump some asparagus in there. Be very careful. You can have high heat at this point. You wanna give it a little sear. So we're just gonna dump the asparagus in there. Season. And toss. I'm gonna put in some turmeric, some ginger, some mixed dried herbs, some salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. I'm just gonna season all of that and give that a toss in the pan. We're just gonna let that go for a few minutes, and we just continue tossing. Just gonna continue tossing the asparagus, incorporating the seasoning in there. And this is what we have so far. We're also trying to build up a nice fond, which we will deglaze with some water. Just continue tossing. And we're just going to deglaze with some water. Forgive the steam. When you get in the kitchen, that's what happens. So we're just going to toss that and deglaze a little bit more. And when you deglaze, you release all that lovely flavor from the pot. Release that lovely fond, and that will give it a lovely flavor. So that's what we will do with this. And now we're just going to cover and let that go for a few minutes. I'm just gonna put the cover on there and let that go for a few minutes. So after a few minutes, this is what we're looking like. As you can see, that's lovely. That's done. Yeah. You see a nice gravy also. We're just gonna check our meat. And as you can see, after about 45 minutes, an additional 45 minutes, the meat is ready. So we're just gonna let that rest for a little bit. As you can see, the meat is nicely done. Got a lovely color also. So we're just gonna let that rest for a little bit. Remember to put the foil back on. We're just gonna let that rest. Now we're gonna move on to the gravy now. You already got the gravy here going. Just gonna dump in some granules just to thicken it up a bit. Just dump in a bit of granules. That will thicken up that gravy, because you need a nice thick gravy for the potatoes. There we go. Just keep stirring. We're gonna add a little bit more granules, gravy granules, to thicken up that gravy. I'm just gonna thicken up that gravy. We're just gonna let that go for a few minutes. As you can see, that's nice and thick now. We're just gonna set that aside on low heat to keep warm. At this point, you can adjust for salt, pepper, and mine was fine. We're just gonna cover, set that aside on low heat, let it reduce a little bit. And now we're gonna move on to the potatoes. Just check out potatoes. There you go. Our potatoes are looking lovely. Got a nice color on them. They're looking lovely. That will go lovely with the lamb. And there you have it. The lamb is all set, rested, ready to be carved up. Let me know what you guys think. Here you have it. The star of the show. It's a lovely leg of lamb. As you can see, it was very easy to make. You just gotta be patient. Well seasoned lamb. Tender, juicy. It's gonna go lovely with the potatoes and the asparagus. There you have it. Lovely, well seasoned, succulent leg of lamb. Perfect for a Sunday dinner for you and the family. So give it a go, guys. Let me know what you guys think. As you can see, it was very easy. Not much ingredients. So easy to make. So what we'll do now, we'll get ready to carve up and plate up and have some dinner. I'm just gonna give you guys a final close-up. I'm just gonna get ready to plate up. So as you can see, I've already got my asparagus and my spuds on the plate, and I'm just gonna set my meat now. Just grab a few slices of that lovely juicy leg of lamb, which was very easy to make, as you saw. Just gonna set a few pieces on there. And now we're gonna just drizzle it with the gravy. That lovely thick gravy. Lovely color gravy. Rich also. Just gonna drizzle a bit of that. I like a lot of gravy. Let me know if you guys like a lot of gravy. Just gonna drizzle that all over. Getting ready to eat. I'm hungry now. Let me know if you guys will try it. So there you have it. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.